Good morning, folks. It's Friday morning, so we're gonna do the Friday dance. No, no, I don't know where that even came from. Right, Bullet Friday. I've got 5 amazing things that I have learned this week. I genuinely love learning, educating myself, trying to be better. And don't get me wrong, we've all got faults. Everybody's got faults, but I do think the main thing is that we're trying to become better. We're aware of our faults, and we're trying to improve every single week and every single day. Really, my main thing is I want to be a man that my wife looks up to, or my wife feels safe and secure around, and my kids look up to. That's my number one. I want to be a man where my kids look up to me. And so I'm trying to learn and educate as much as I can to make sure that I can help them become a better, more rounded individual. Because we've all got weird things that we say and do and act, and every single one of us is different and unique, and that's beautiful. And so I just want to make sure that I bring out the best of my kids somehow. So this is why I love listening, learning. And we've got some today about money. We've got some today about, we've got the quote from the Harmoses about your relationship. And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, that is so good. And in arguments, we all could do with listening to this. Right, let's start with Oscar Wilde. I know, I was surprised as well. Oscar Wilde says, some people bring happiness wherever they go. Others bring happiness whenever they go. Oh, that is interesting. So some people bring happiness wherever they go. The aim should be for you to be that person. Wherever you go should be happiness. You should make the room better because you are in it. You should make somebody's day better because you are in it. I would hate it if anybody considered their day worse because I was in it, or I'd done something, or I had a negative impact. You always want to have a positive impact, not a negative impact. Now, when it says here, it got me thinking, Oscar Wilde, others bring happiness whenever they go. I was like, oh, that's deep. What does he mean? Does he mean when they go, when they die? I mean, that's pretty dark if you're happy when someone's dead. But then I thought, no, I actually know of people where when they're at parties, or when you know somebody, or when somebody's there, or at a conference, you're like, oh no, that person's here. And then for whatever reason, you feel more comfortable when that person leaves the circle of friends, the circle of business, whatever it is. That person leaves, you feel better. You feel more comfortable. You feel more confident. And we never want to be that person. I hope that I'm not that person for other people. I'm sure I could be, but I hope I'm not. I really, really hope I'm not. So some people bring happiness wherever they go. I want to be that person. You want to be that person. Others bring happiness whenever they go. It just got me thinking. It really did. I was like, wow, this is good. So that's number one. Number one, 5 Bullet Friday. Number one, Oscar Wilde. Brilliant. This is from my good friend, Bedros Coolio. I always get his second name wrong. Bedros. Anyway, I call him Bedros. He says he teaches men 5 pillars. And these 5 pillars are faith, family, fitness, finance, and fulfillment. I'm like, oh, yes. They all start with F as well. That is brilliant. Oh, Bedros, you are brilliant. So number 1, faith. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to believe in God, but you have to have faith, some sort of faith. You have to believe in something. Now, what do I believe in? I am right down this spiritual path. I love it. I believe in one consciousness. I believe that we're all connected in some way, shape, or form, whether it's God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I believe there's a greater power. And I believe that we're like water. We're like drops of ocean. If you imagine the ocean, you take a bucket out, and that water is no longer the sea, but it's part of the sea. And that's what I think we are. I think we're one collective consciousness having a human experience. And I am absolutely convinced of it. And I believe that there's loads of gods out there that people call God, but ultimately we're calling it the one. We're calling it universe. We're calling it love. That's to me what God means. Anyway, so faith. You've got to have some sort of faith. Whatever it is, you've got to have some sort of faith. And it doesn't necessarily have to be religion. Number 2, family. 100% really dialed in for me this. I'm with him all the way. Family, you've got to put your family up there. Your family has to be a priority. And the problem is so many men, and I'm saying men because this is most of the time, it is men. We sacrifice our family to get ahead of a competition professionally. And then we become distant. Our relationship with our kids isn't as good. Our relationship with our wife isn't as good. So we're going to be very, very careful on that. Family has to be our priority. Fitness. Mate, if you aren't fit, I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I was saying, and I felt a douchebag for saying it, but once you get to putting money on the table for kids, I understand that sometimes you got to sacrifice working out to make sure you can put money on the table. Obviously, you've got to put food on the table. You got to feed your family. If you can't feed your family, then what good are you? I understand that. But once you get to a certain level where your family are fed, then fitness has to be a priority in your life. It has to be. Because I said to, it was actually Ant from DSOC. I was actually talking to him and saying that for me, fitness has to be a number one priority, because I've got to look after myself first. If I don't look after myself, my mental health, my fitness, whatever, then I can't look after my kids. Put your own gas mask on first. And also, I want to show my kids that fitness is ultra, uber important, because if I say dad doing it, then they're more likely to do it in their life. And so, yeah, fitness, because I want to live a long time. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to run around after my kids. Why wouldn't I? This morning, I got up at 6 o'clock. Did I want to get up at 6 o'clock? No. I went for a 6K run. Yesterday, I've run 19K this week. Well, this is, I'm recording this on Thursday, sorry. And don't get me wrong. I said to Ant, I said, mate, I know it's hard because I do well, but this week I haven't been to gym. I wanted to go gym 4 times. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get back into running first of all, because I've had a knee problem. I'm going to make sure concentrate on my steps first of all, and then I'll get back in gym. So I'm not perfect, but fitness is a priority to me. And I think it should be a priority to everybody out there. And it doesn't have to be like, go to gym, run. It can be just do 10,000 steps. Ant's doing brilliant. He's doing 10,000 steps. He said, if I don't walk another step now, I've done 10,000 steps for December. I'm like, whoa. Did he say that? Or something like that? I mean, if that's the case, it's only 14th of December. That's fucking incredible. Anyway, so yeah, whatever it may be, go for a walk. Do something. Just put fitness up there as a priority to you. And yeah, so faith, family, fitness, finance. Obviously, as we've spoken about, if you can't put food on the table for your family, then you've got to be a provider in some way, shape, or form. And so finance has to be up there. I was talking to somebody again the other day, and I was saying that for me, they said, why do you keep going? What's your why? I said, simple. If my mom and dad get ill and they needed an operation, or my sisters, or my friends, or my loved ones, or family, if they got ill and there was a way to save them, or they had a bigger chance of survival, but it was £200,000, they had to go to America. Fuck, I want to be in a position to just write that check. There you go, 200 grand. Oh yeah, no worries. There you go. I want to be in a position to look after my family, my close family, my immediate family, my family in general. I want to be that person who can provide for, come under my, I always say to the wife, umbrella. Come under my umbrella. Everybody's under my umbrella. There's no rainy days here. Not in Dean's umbrella. I imagine myself as an umbrella, but not just for my family. I want to be for my friends, for, I don't know, anybody. I want to be able to be in that position where I can help them. So that is my why. I want to make sure that money is not an obstacle to health. And I think that's quite good, actually. That's the first time I put it that way. Money is not an obstacle to health. And so that's really, really, really important to me. So God, I'm taking ages to it. Faith, family, fitness, finance, and fulfillment. Fulfillment. You have to be fulfilled in what you're doing. You don't want to be a miserable so-and-so going to work or whatever you're doing and not be fulfilled. So we need to be fulfilled. So they're Bedros 5 pillars. I love it. Right, on to Conor McGregor. Oh, we've had Oscar Wilde, we've had Bedros, and now we're going Conor McGregor. And then we've got Josh Spector, Alex Hormozy, and Layla Hormozy. Right, Conor McGregor. Oh, crikey. Said a quote, and somebody said to him, don't you feel bad about throwing money in people's face? And he goes, no. It says more about them than me. Some people will see this and get inspired. Some people will be resented by it. That's who I was. So he's basically saying that he was inspired by other people with money. They get to decide the path on what they go on. Are you resentful or you are inspired? It's not down to me. The right people will either like it and the other people will continue to be bitter. I love it. I remember writing this quote out because I heard it and I was in Centre Parks and it's absolutely freezing. It was like 9 o'clock at night and I was walking back to the cabin on my own. And I was like, my hands were really, really cold. So I haven't wrote that out perfect. But basically he's saying, I'm not going to turn my money down. No, because I got inspired by it. And the right people who see this, you've got two options. You can either be inspired by it or you can be bitter. The right people will be inspired by it. And that was me. And I got inspired by people, seeing people with money, and look what's happened. And so you choose. Are you inspired by it or are you bitter and negative and twisted? You get to choose. It's not Connor's decision. And that's what I like. That's what people say about me talking about money and stuff. I'm being open, I'm being honest. And some people will find it distasteful. Other people will find it motivational. Other people will just look at me and think, I thought you'd be doing better than that, mate. Right. Here's number 4. This is something that I was talking about with a team. The longer money is owed, the less it's considered a debt. So we've got to be very, very careful. The longer money is owed, the less people consider it a debt. That is so true. So that's number 4. The longer money is owed, the less people consider it a debt. So basically, if it's owed 1 month, then they consider it more of a debt if the same amount of money was owed 10 months. It's just the way it is. I learned that in the betting shop days. Josh Spector now. Number 5. Other people's problems are not your problems, and your problems are not other people's problems. The more you absorb these two concepts and act accordingly, the happier and more successful you'll become. I love this, but I will put a caveat. Other people's problems are not your problems. Sometimes I want other people's problems to be my problems because I want to help other people out. But most of the time, other people's problems are not your problems. So when somebody's got a problem with you, it's not your problem. And your problems are not other people's problems. So basically, don't put your problems on other people, on unsuspecting people. I thought it was really, really good. And I am going to leave you with this Harmozy. Alex and Layla Harmozy was talking about relationships. And don't get me wrong, I don't agree with everything they say about relationships, because they were saying that the passion wasn't there when they got together and it was more of a business arrangement. And I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. But what works for them works for them. But they've got some wonderful insights. And they said, I think it was Layla who said this, before you say something to your significant other, ask yourself, will this make their life better or worse? I love this. I love it. Sometimes, it's not often, but my wife goes out with fake eyelashes on. I don't like them. I don't think many men like them. Anyway, that's just personal preference. I don't know. I feel like and and she said, do you like my fake? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm like, shut up, Dean, shut up. It's like, does my bum look big in this? I'm like, no, of course not. It's like, why would you? So you've got to ask yourself a question. Will it make their life better or worse by saying that? And by the way, inside now I'm thinking, oh no, all the people listening to this with fake eyelashes are going to be like, oh no, Dean's a knob. But it's just personal preferences. It's like some girls like stubble, some girls don't. So it's personal preferences for each and every people. And so I think that sometimes you can fall down here with arguments, because I certainly do this. In an argument, you say something you don't really mean because you want to make a point. But that's not making the situation or them feel better. And so why would you do it? I just wish at the time I'd have the whereabouts to think, yeah, I'm better than that. I don't need to say that. I can control my emotions. And so I think that is really, really good. Will this make their life better or worse? And by the way, it's almost like when Claire goes out with something, a dress or whatever, she likes it. And me as well. If she doesn't like what I'm wearing and I don't like what she's wearing, if we feel comfortable internally, it almost doesn't matter what the other person thinks. My hairstyle, hair makeup, whatever. It doesn't really matter, because if it makes them feel better and me feel better, then what's the problem? So yeah, I think that was really good. Will this make their life better or worse? Ask yourself this before you say something significant to your significant other. I love it. Love it. All right, my friends, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to go because I've got a meeting in 3 minutes and I want a cup of coffee. And then I'm going to the Manchester markets, Christmas markets. See you soon. Love you. I appreciate you. Bye.